Hey, this is Peggy with Easy Peasy Machine Embroidery, and today we are going to be in the new MySewNet software, and we are going to be in the Platinum version, and we will be doing a logo. So let's begin. So there are a couple of ways to do this, and I'm going to just start out with a blank canvas, although I could go straight into digitizing. So I'm going to start with the blank canvas. And I'm going to pick my hoop size. And then I'm going to go into the Create tab and into Digitizing. And while we're waiting, we're going to load or create a background picture. Next, we're going to load our picture. And I believe it is right here. And say OK. Now, if I wanted to edit that picture, here's how I would do that. We'd go into the edit. That's a whole nother lesson, and I'm going to leave that for now. We're going to go into Next, and here's where I'm going to crop it. And we're going to say Next again, and Next. And there is my photo that I'm using as a background. Now I need to think about how I want to do this. And I believe I'm going to start over here. And I'm going to use Point Create, which is the same as the Precise Create and the Premiere Plus 2 Ultra version. So I am going to set my stitches up. I'm going to do a double stitch, and I am going to use a pattern fill. I'm going to go over here to the fill area and line, and I'm going to make sure the fill is what I want it to be. You have all kinds of fills here. Just scroll up and down. I'm going to make sure that I've got it on double stitch. I can change that later to triple if I need to. And because I'm working with a pretty small design, I'm going to take this and go back to a 1.5. And I'm doing that because when there are curves in a design, sometimes a smaller stitch works better. So I'm going to get the magnifying tool, and that is right down here in the lower right hand corner. And I'm going to do Create Liner Area, and I'm just going to follow this line. I can rearrange these dots later if I need to. When you get to an angle, like right here, if you hold down the Shift key, it will give you an angle instead of a curve. Going up around this curve, I'm going to put a few more dots in. And if I'm on a straightaway, I can use less dots. And we're coming into the home stretch. I'm going to put an angle there by holding down the Shift key. And then I'm going to end it right here. And again, I'm going to put an angle there, angle there. I can adjust these dots later, and I can also go to the Home tab, and I can insert more dots. I can delete dots if I need to. But we're going back into Point Create. And what about these circles? They're going to disappear. So they are gone now. So now what I need to do is go up to the Whole, Create, right here. And I'm going to try to remember about how those holes looked. And right click. Right click. Right there, there's a little stitch that is, so I'm going to move that around just a little bit. Okay, so that's that part of the design done. The next part of the design, I think I can go into Quick Create and grab a star that's almost similar to what is there. And I'm going to choose 43. I'm going to leave my pattern and my double stitch line border exactly where it was. And I'm going to click Shape. Okay, pretty big shape. So we are going to, and I'm holding the Shift key down while I'm doing this. I'm resizing it. And I'm going to take it right over there. And I'm going to try to make it about the same size as it was. And it doesn't matter that that shows in the background, the black area, because that is not part of the embroidery. Another thing you can do at this point is click on the pattern fill with the film strip slide number 2 over here. Do a right click and you can insert a color change or a stop. And I like to add color changes on different parts of my design just so I know where things are, how they're going to stitch out. We're going to go back over to the triangle. Actually, it's not a triangle. All right, so we're going to do this the same exact way, and I'm going to actually do a blue. I'm going to insert a color change. We're just going to choose another blue here. I can move these around later if I choose. We're going to go into Point Create again. And I'm going to start right here. Whoops, got to get my tool. I'm going to start right there. And that's a straight line, so I can just click my angles. Right click. There's that. And the last thing I'm going to do, and I'm going to insert another color change. And I'll pick a aqua this time. I can change them all back to the same color if I want. This just helps me visualize how the design is going to stitch out. So I'm still going to be in Precise Create, and I'm going to decide where I want to start this, and we're going to do a shift, and then we're going to let up and just go around this like we did the other letters. Dots close together there. Yeah, there we go. And go right around here. And an angle. And I'm going to right click it in a second. I'm going to straighten that one out a little bit. I think that'll be okay. Move that just a little bit, nudge. And I can still correct it afterwards if I need to. All I got to do is right click and I can still move things around. So that is how I would do this design. And if I wanted to start the G first, all I'd have to do is hold down my control button and select them, and then slide them right up on top of the blue. And I'm going to move that blue down a little bit. You can drag these pieces around. Okay, so first it's going to stitch out the G, then it's going to stitch out ALE, then it's going to stitch out the little star, and then the pattern fill. Now, another thing I think I would like to do, because I would like the ALE to be on top of that stitching, I'm going to slide that right up here again. And remember that that greenish color goes above the G. And we are, whoops, Control Z. We'll try that again. I want these two. We're going to get rid of this. Want these two to go way up here on top. Come on. Okay, and there it went. So it's going to stitch out this part first. Then it's going to stitch out the G, the ALE, and then the star last. And finally, we are going to close out. And it comes right back into your regular embroidery. And that's what it looks like. If you wanted to go and re-edit it, you would go right-click, edit in Digitizing, and you can go back in, exactly where you were before. Say you did not like the L up here. We can go into the home position we can go insert, delete, or edit. And I'm going to zoom in on that section. And I'm going to, I think I'm going to add I think it's probably okay right there without the angles, but I'm going to straighten out a couple of these dots. So that is basically how it is done, or at least how I would do it. And next we would do an export if we were going to send it to our machine directly. If we wanted to put a frame around it, I would actually unclick it and then go get my frame. Whoops. I believe it was, well, any old frame will do. I believe it was this one I wanted. And I'm going to just click here. And I'm going to resize it the way I want it to be. And there we go. We have a patch. Okay, so now I'm going to export. One more thing. Go back to the Home tab. I'm going to combine my colors. Another thing you could do, Control Z. You could group those two together. You can center in hoop. If you need to change the thread from another thread maker, say Madeira into Robeson Anton, that is right here, color and tone. And you would say, you would pick the type of thread that you were going to use. There's my database right there that I've created so that I know it's using threads that I have already. I'm going to say OK. And it will actually change those to what I have in my database. Okay, so that's the lesson for today. And I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you got something out of it. Remember to like and subscribe to my channel. Leave comments if they're positive or constructive. And thanks for listening. Bye.